supernova. Are you ready for a super fun adventure? Today, we're going on a special space expedition. Would you like to swing on a star? Well, fasten your seatbelt because this space expedition starts in 3, 2, 1. Here we go! Dancing planets one by one, stepping stones from the sun. Mercury is first, sunglasses on. Venus is next to see the dawn. Earth is third, beneath the stars. Then in fourth place, the red one, Mars. 5 and 6, Jupiter and Saturn. The rings around her make a pattern. Uranus and Neptune are both blue. Pluto is a dwarf planet no matter the hue. That's the end of our galaxy path. That's 9 together if we do our math. Though we do suspect there's more. That's what space exploring is for. And explore we will, kids planet explorers. You and I are going on a trip around our solar system. We're going to a place filled with stars and planets, the moon, quasars, and asteroids. You won't believe your eyes. Seeing things out of our own world will make us realize just how small we are, and that there are so many other things out there that we don't even notice. Millions of places that we could someday explore. Let's not wait any longer. Hop on, close your eyes, hold on tight, and we're off! Everyone, put on your sunglasses. If you don't have any, just pretend. We are going in for a closer look at the sun. Mrs. Star says the sun is 4.6 billion years old. That's pretty old. Not only is it old, but it's also huge. 1 billion Earths could fit inside of the sun. Whoa, let's not get too close. The sun has a powerful magnetic field. We don't want to get burned. We think this is a great place to start. There are 9 planets that orbit the sun, and those planets make up our solar system. Well, it's really 8, and because, as I said in my poem, Pluto is really a dwarf planet, which means it's similar to the other planets in our solar system, but it's just a lot smaller. So, let's see, there's Earth. And those other planets besides Pluto are... I can't remember. I said them in my poem, and now I've gotten so excited about taking you with me that I've forgotten. Nova to Mission Control. Come in, Mission Control. I'm requesting my favorite browser to be sent up for a recon mission. I need Sirius in a hurry. Sirius, what are the names of the planets in our solar system? I have a feeling that this will be a great time for a planet list. So get ready, space kids. Sirius, let's go in order, from closest to the sun to farthest away. Number 1 is Mercury. I knew it. I should really trust myself more often. Mrs. Star says that because Mercury races around the sun so fast, it only takes it 88 days to get around the whole thing. And on Earth, it takes 365 days to get around the sun. Anyway, because Mercury races around the sun so fast, the planet was named for the Roman messenger god. He had wings on his feet, so he was really fast. There's no way anyone could live on Mercury. There is no atmosphere there. It's dry on the surface, and of course, those extreme temperatures would either cook you or freeze you solid. Whoa! Okay, Sirius, what's this planet? Venus, named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Venus is the brightest planet in the solar system. We can see her both in the morning sky and in the night sky from certain locations on the Earth. When she shines at night, she's called the evening star. When she shines in the morning, she's known as the morning star. And funny thing is, she's not really a star at all. Venus is even hotter than Mercury and is covered by a layer of water vapor and gases, so we can't even see the surface. Whoa! Do you recognize this planet? I'm sure we don't even need curious for this one. This one is, say it with me, Earth. Earth is number 3 and the 3rd planet closest to the sun. Does that surprise you? Earth is so different from the rest in so many ways. Earth is the only planet in our system with oxygen, which we need to breathe. Earth is the only planet with water on the surface, and so far, Earth is the only planet that has life, like us. And Earth is the only inner planet. That means one of the 3 closest to the sun that has a moon. We'll talk more about the moon later, but it's known as a satellite to the Earth. Kind of like a best friend, like Galaxy is to me. Mars also has a moon. In fact, it has 2 moons. That brings us to number 4, the red planet Mars. Mars looks a lot like Earth, but instead of having blue water and green trees, it has mainly red Earth. Mars even has mountains. Whoa! The rest of Mars is scarred with craters and asteroid hits, and has the most powerful dust storms in the galaxy. Whoa! Here we go again, space travelers. Cover your eyes so you don't get sand in them. Wow! Where are we now? It's so quiet. Number 5, Jupiter. Jupiter is a huge planet. Mrs. Starr says that Jupiter is the first of the gas planets, meaning that all the rest of the planets are formed by dense gases. We'll keep our distance, as Jupiter is one of the stormiest planets as well. See that red eye? That's actually a storm that's been going for millions of years. Jupiter has 64 moons. Can you imagine what 64 full moons would look like? The most beautiful planet to look at is probably Saturn. My brother Neutron would love to ride those rings like a roller coaster, but they're actually probably made up of ice. Saturn spins so fast that it creates powerful storms on the surface of the planet. The Earth takes 24 hours to do its rotation. Saturn only takes 10. Ooh, look at this pretty blue planet. Which one is this? Uranus. Why is it so blue? Wow, this is another gas planet, and it's made up of 2 frozen gases called methane and ammonia. That's what makes it look so blue. Uranus actually lays on its side, maybe from getting knocked around by other space objects. So one side of it stays completely in darkness all of the time. Neptune is another gas planet, but it is made up of helium and hydrogen. It looks so blue that scientists named it Neptune for the Greek god of the sea. There's no water there, though, all gas. The funny thing about Neptune is that it is the farthest away from the sun, farther than just about all of the planets, but it provides its own heat. It actually provides more heat for itself than it gets from the sun. The last one on our list is Pluto. It's not technically a planet, but called a dwarf planet instead. Remember, that means it's a planet like the other 8 in our solar system, just much smaller. Very little is known about Pluto. It's the 2nd smallest planet in the galaxy and has a very strange atmosphere. The atmosphere is mostly made up of a gas called nitrogen. And even though the planet loses a lot of it by the second, it constantly makes more for itself. The most amazing thing about the planet is that it has a heart on its surface. It seems to beg us to make it a real planet after all. When we come back, we'll visit other things in our galaxy. But first, it's time for our Nova quiz. Here we go. What is the Milky Way? A. A new way to drink milk. B. A path that cows follow to get home to the dairy farm each day. C. A band of stars that reach across the galaxy. See if you can think of the answer. We'll be right back with more Kids Planet. Whee! Welcome back. Ready to have some more fun? Me too. Let's find out the answer to our Nova quiz. What is the Milky Way? A. A new way to drink milk. B. A path that cows follow to get home to the dairy farm each day. C. A band of stars that reach across the galaxy. If you answered B, a path that cows follow to get home to the dairy farm each day, you didn't get it right. Sorry about that. However, if you said C, a band of stars that reaches across the galaxy, you're right. The Milky Way is another name for all of the billions and billions of stars in our universe. We are going to name a handful today, but know that there are too many to even count, unless you have a lot of time on your hands. We've put our question into Curious's browser, and he is now forming his answer for the first major star on our list. Another planet list, that is. Our first major star in the galaxy is number 1, Polaris. Polaris is also called the North Star. It's the 45th brightest star and sits so close to the North Pole that people have used it for a long time to find out which direction they were going. Number 2 is called Sirius, or the Dog Star. It's the brightest star in the galaxy, and it's called the Dog Star because it's part of the constellation. That's an object made of stars in the sky, called the Big Dog. When it rises in the northern hemisphere, above the equator, which is the middle point of the Earth, it means it's summertime. When it rises in the southern hemisphere, it means it's winter. So, Polaris can help us find our directions, but Sirius can help predict the seasons. Number 3 is Alpha Centauri. It is actually multiple stars making up one large system. It is the closest star system to Earth, at only 4 light years away. That means that the light of Alpha Centauri only takes 4 years to get to us. Some stars take millions. Number 4 is Betelgeuse. That's a very funny name. It's not a weird drink made for bugs, but a bright red supergiant star. Its name means Hand of Orion, and it is in the constellation of Orion the Great Hunter. Another very bright star in Orion is Rigel. Rigel is number 5 on our list. Instead of being red, he's blue. He's 20 times the size of the sun and shines 100,000 times brighter. It's far enough away from our planet that we just don't see it as closely as our own sun. Just like we have dwarf planets, remember Pluto? We also have dwarf stars, like number 6, Vega. She's a white dwarf star, but don't let the name fool you. She's also bigger than the sun, twice as large, but she's 25 light years away. It's very fitting that number 7 is the Pleiades, because the Pleiades means 7 sisters in Greek. It's a cluster of stars that has meant many things to different cultures and lives at the feet of Orion the Hunter. One story says that there were 7 sisters being chased by a bear. They prayed for some kind of savior, and so the earth rose up and sent them to live in the skies, where they remain safe to this day. Orion must be a very bright constellation with so many bright stars making up his shape. There are many more stars in our Milky Way. You should look every night and see what you can find. You can ask your parents to buy you books that tell you what you're seeing. You can pretend you lived a long time ago and make up stories about the stars and constellations you see. There are so many things that exist up in the skies above us. We'll visit more of these when we come back. But first, it's time for another Nova quiz. What's smaller than a planet but larger than a meteor? I'll give you a hint. It's large and rocky. It's not a mountain range. See if you can think of the answer. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more Kids Planet. We're back. Let's continue our incredible adventure on Kids Planet. Time for the answer to our Nova quiz. Remember the question? What is smaller than a planet but larger than a meteor? If you guessed an asteroid, you're right. Asteroids are giant floating rocks. They have a lot of big holes on them called craters from other things hitting them in space. Asteroids are known as, Curious, what are asteroids known as? An asteroid is known as a non-planetary object. Non-planetary objects move around space and bump and crash into other space objects, like planets. Sometimes really, really hard. The moon is covered in craters from impacts such as these. And all along you thought the moon looked like that because it was made of cheese? Wonder what the moon tastes like? Just kidding. There are more of these non-planetary objects in the sky. Another is called a comet. Just like my dog. Comets are huge chunks of ice and rock. When they get too close to the sun, they melt and produce a sort of tail. Just like my dog. There's a very famous comet named Halley's Comet that last appeared to Earth in 1986. It's supposed to appear again in 2061. A much smaller version of that is a meteoroid. Meteoroids can be as small as a grain of sand or as large as giant boulders. When they come into our atmosphere and burn while coming in, they're called meteors. Earth has been hit by many meteors before. Most meteors burn up in our atmosphere way before they hit the ground. But the ones that don't are called meteorite. We're pretty lucky that we've only had very minor hits from objects such as these. Our atmosphere protects us from some of them. Wow, we've learned so much today. Almost a universe of information is now stored in our heads. Can you remember all that we've learned today? The sun is very old and billions of Earths could fit inside of it. Can you name all 9 of the planets from closest to farthest away from the sun? I have a fantastic way to memorize that. Just think of this. My very excited mother just served us nachos pleasantly. Use the first letter of each word to remind you of the first letter of the planet's order. So that means the planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. I think if you practiced it a few times, you would remember, don't you? We learned that the Milky Way isn't a candy bar, but a band of stars stars that stretch across our solar system. It's filled with millions, even billions of stars. And the shapes that they make are called constellations. Stars like Polaris gave sailors and explorers a map in the sky so they could find their way. Sirius, the dog star, that told ancient people when their seasons would begin. If they saw her in the northern hemisphere, it told them summer was coming. If they saw it in the southern hemisphere, they knew winter was about to begin. Betelgeuse, Rigel, and Vega, all giant stars that are made of millions of stars to create one system. Betelgeuse is only 4 light years away from the Earth. How about the other objects in the sky? What's smaller than a planet and larger than a meteor? Yes, those big floating rocks are called asteroids. Then I'm sure you remember the comets, meteors, and meteorites, right? There are spectacles everywhere we look in the sky. Our whole universe is made with enough wonder to last several lifetimes. We could never discover it all, not even in 100 years. We must keep exploring and discovering. There may be worlds beyond ours, waiting for us to find them. Before we end today's mission, we have to make a quick stop for our interplanet trivia. And we're going to need some help. Why don't we call my teacher, Mrs. Starr? Yay, Mrs. Starr, you're here! We learned a ton about our solar system today. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are the planets that make up our solar system. The sun is the biggest star we have. Our solar system is filled with stars, planets, and moons. There are so many things out there that we don't even notice. Millions of places for us to explore. All right, now that we've reviewed what our solar system is, let's test our knowledge. Do you think you can help me identify which planet is which? Mrs. Starr is holding up a picture of a red planet in front of the entire class. She says it is the brightest planet in the solar system. So bright we can see it from Earth. And it is the second planet closest to the sun. Do you know what planet this is? That's right, it's Venus. Venus is a planet with a layer of water, vapor, and gases. It's right next to Earth, so we can see it during the day and at night. Mrs. Starr holds up a picture of a blue and green planet. She says it's the third planet from the sun. It's the only planet in our solar system with oxygen and water on the surface. What planet is this? Think hard. Yay! You did it again. It's Earth. Earth is a blue and green planet. It's also the only inner planet with a moon. Earth has oxygen, water, and sunlight, so that it can support life like plants, animals, and humans like us. Good job, everyone, and thank you, Mrs. Starr. There are awesome light shows everywhere we look in our sky. Our whole universe is made with enough wonder to keep us interested and exploring for hundreds of years. We can continue learning and finding out as much as we can about our solar system by exploring and discovering. Who knows, we might even find worlds beyond ours. You did great today. Now it's time to say goodbye. But don't be sad, because we'll see each other again soon. Right here in the best place in outer space. Kids Planet! See you next time!